Welcome to Impact Tech Studio, where we feature the innovators building a better future. Today, we are speaking with Arpit Dhupar, co-founder and CEO of Daraksha Eco Solutions. He's a mechanical engineer turned climate entrepreneur who is tackling two of India's biggest environmental challenges, stubble burning and plastic pollution, by turning agricultural waste into biodegradable packaging. Join us to learn how he's turning a problem into a global opportunity. Hello, Arpit.
Hello, hi Arjun.
So, welcome. Happy to have you on this podcast. This is a normal conversation we'll have about what you are doing and what is your product about. And we will also connect you with a community that we are building. All the sustainable guys are getting together on that community. So, we will also connect you there as well as we become your extended team over a period of time. So we take your questions, we help you in connecting through any value chain addition that you need. So I become that guy who helps you out with. I am basically based out of UK as well as India. So basically 6 months in India and 6 months in UK is kind of the engagement I have right now. So we can always use our ecosystems and create value for each other, right? So that is one friendship that you get out of this as well. So pleasure to have you on this podcast. And what inspired us to get you onto this podcast was, first of all, obviously you had a very amazing Shark Tank moment, right?
Yeah.
And then apart from that, obviously you're building something which is actually an impactful solution which could actually help in a lot of, because you become a value chain addition to every kind of product that is in India, as well as you can expand to the UK as well. So it has a value in understanding the value of impact in UK is higher right now because they've already developed that appetite for what is impact, right?
Correct.
And you have them in every ecosystem. So wherever you go, the stories about impact are a part of their maths. In India, it's moving into that math, right? So welcome. It is a pleasure to have you. So I'll ask you a simple question. Please give us your story and let's start from there, right? So
Now,
what is,
before that, I have a question, Arjun.
yes.
Is this the Idea Shack the same thing that has got co-working spaces in Faridabad? Because the
Yes, I
logo
have.
is the
The
same.
first co-working space that we built was in Faridabad, and we are the first ones in 2016. Now you have 22 co-working spaces in Faridabad, right?
Acha, so you belong to Faridabad? Like, what?
No, I'm Delhi. I'm Delhi.
Why Faridabad?
Why Faridabad? Because my insight said that the startups, when they left their house, they had a perception that they wanted to not work in Faridabad because their friends and folks did not understand what work will they do about startups in Faridabad.
Absolutely, yeah.
So they used to say Delhi, Gurgaon, Noida, and
Acha,
that used to be a good sell at
correct.
that time, which was 2016. So, and also the one insight I got was that the opposite side traffic of
Mm,
office time, right,
mm.
was always the higher traffic. So when I was
Right.
coming from Delhi to Faridabad, the
Yeah,
other side was always in a traffic jam and I was having a free ride.
correct.
Similarly, when I was coming back, the same thing was happening as compared to the evenings, right?
Right.
Now it has a little bit flipped, which I'm very
Yeah,
happy to see. But but that was the insight that brought me to the point that so I went into other people's co-working spaces, wanted to take a job there at that time. Right.
Acha.
So I put the point in front of them, why don't you expand to Faridabad?
Yeah.
And the answers that used to come was that our online research is not telling us that they need any co-working space.
Mm,
So
mm.
if you ask anyone in Faridabad, they will say, no, I don't need anything in Faridabad.
Hmm.
That was the point that in 2016 we launched. Now we have a building on the main Mathura Road. You must be
Right.
seeing that. Yes.
That's what I observed. So, first time I was going there. So, we put up our plant in 2021 in Faridabad. And,
Amazing. Right on.
uh, so, when I was going there, so earlier I used to go from the other route, from the inside via NIT.
Right.
But then later on, I started going from the main road. And that's what one thing that I observed was take the main road pair. And then it has a feeling that it is something hardware oriented. So,
We are basically moving towards now. Now we are moving towards from a co-working place to my interest of actually becoming a accelerator. So we are moving towards it. So we are actually building the business model, getting fund managers to hop in as manager for it. So that is the phase right now. We have large companies, we have small companies. So we had the same numbers as Delhi. In the beginning, we went through three break evens, right?
Okay.
And the numbers were exactly the same for Delhi. So I broke that research question mark that they had, that फरीदाबाद में बिजनेस थोड़ी होता है,
हाँ,
right? वहां पे तो फैक्ट्रीज
manufacturing.
लगती हैं और एम्प्लॉयज जाते हैं, 9 to 5
Right.
काम होता है, 9 to 6 भी नहीं होता, ये वहां का एक सिस्टम था.
Correct.
Now I have a community which works till 10 p.m. Lots of startup energy. It's been 9 years, 9.5 years operating it. We have seen a number of different types of conversations happening. So my aim is to make the co-working space become a product company, a product ka host, not a service host, which is the story of फरीदाबाद मेजरली. अभी स्टार्टअप्स में कि भाई सर्विसेज बहुत आती हैं,
हाँ.
प्रोडक्ट की कंपनीज नहीं आती जो बेसिकली थोड़ा इनोवेशन को मेरी स्पेस में बढ़ाएं. तो वो वी आर बिल्डिंग ऑन दैट एज वेल. सो दैट गॉट मी टू द पॉइंट कि एक्सेलरेटर क्यों नहीं बनता. तो ये तो हो गया मेरा इंटरव्यू.
उल्टा हो गया.
तो उल्टा हुआ, बहुत बढ़िया हुआ. तो तो आप प्लीज मुझे थोड़ा सा अंडरस्टैंडिंग दो. सो व्हाट इज योर स्टार्टअप, व्हाट डज इट डू, लेट द ऑडियंस नो. So the kind of audience we have is investors, data analysts, and other startups who want inspiration from you, right? So that is the whole thing. Yeah.
So, Arjun, I am founder and CEO at Dharaksha Eco Solutions.
Yeah.
And we are a deep tech materials company. We are building the next generation of materials that can serve as an alternative to petroleum driven products. So, आज की डेट में, we are surrounded by various kinds of materials. Past 150 years, we've generated numerous new materials. Like 150 years ago, it would primarily be A metals, B glass, and C wood related items, or
Right.
fusion of these three.
Right.
But पिछले post 1850, like after the Industrial Revolution, and once we discovered petroleum, we've had very complex materials like plastics and hundreds of types of plastics, composites, fibers, polyesters, etc., etc. So we are surrounded by these materials. Now, as research is being conducted, we are realizing that most of these materials are not conducive to our health. They are known to disrupt our endocrine systems, leach into our systems. Microplastics is becoming a huge problem. So we wanted to create newer, better materials that are also conducive to our health, that are driven by nature. So instead of petroleum-driven products, can we have similar or better performing products with materials that are sustainable to the nature and sustainable to the population?
Right.
Ye thought tha behind building it. And then there was a second trigger, which was the air pollution problem. Now, since you've also spent a fair bit of your time in Delhi, now you are in a very good AQI place in UK. But यहाँ पे the situation gets very bad during the winters.
Right.
So this was another trigger that I wanted to work on, that, can we use technology to solve for the problem of pollution?
Right.
So when we started Dharaksha, the objective was to blend these two. Can we acquire the agricultural residue, which is being burnt and causing a lot of pollution, and then convert it into new materials that can be sustainable for the planet, better in performance than petroleum-driven products, and one day, create a refinery of sorts that competes with the present-day petroleum refinery, and we create the next generation of materials.
Right. So what is the state of your business right now? Where are you before Shark Tank, after Shark Tank? How many years and where are you right now?
So right now we have got one product in the market, which is basically a replacement to styrofoam.
Right.
So we make it using paddy straw and we add a mushroom culture. Now this is not an ordinary mushroom culture. We've engineered this in the laboratory,
Right.
and this can digest the paddy straw, grow its roots. These roots of mushroom are technically known as mycelium. Now mycelium acts like a binder. It holds the material together and gives it the shape, the rigidity, etc. So this is a new form of manufacturing, which is now being termed as biomanufacturing, because we are not using the traditional manufacturing machines or resins or chemicals to manufacture. We are using nature to manufacture.
Right.
So this is a whole new domain that is that would explode in the next 4 to 5 years, and we are very happy that we are at the right time in the right place. So yeah, optimistic about that. Right now, in terms of business, where we are, so we are providing packaging to right now the fragile industry. So basically, glasses, mirrors, people who are selling their products in glass jars, let's say ghee, honey, achar, jams, chawanprash, etc. So all these people were facing significant breakages, primarily in the e-commerce when they were selling in the e-commerce. With us, the breakage comes down to under 1%. So that is the value that we add to the companies. Yeah. So right now, mirrors and glasses are our core domain. Next, we are exploring yet another domain in diagnostic industries. Can we make their supply chain more smoother, better, and more resilient? So yeah, our materials are right now solving the logistics industry.
Right, right. And your manufacturing and this whole process of mushroom culture and everything, the whole value chain of it is stationed in Faridabad.
Is stationed in Faridabad. Yeah. So again, been in Delhi, wanted to work in NCR and set up a manufacturing unit. Had a lot of options, but things fell into place in Faridabad, and right now we have got a 27,000 square feet facility in Faridabad. Yeah, so building the core biotech from the tier two locations of the country.
But yes, Faridabad is now developing at a very fast pace. I've seen Faridabad, you must have also seen earlier as well. So,
Yeah.
the day we came to 2016 in Faridabad, the metro hopped in, right?
Yeah.
Not yet there. Before
Mm.
that, we were just driving down old roads and trying to find our way to our place and places in Faridabad, right? So yeah, so Faridabad, I don't think so will stay to tier two for very long because you guys, there's a lot of people who are actually innovating and now they're getting out of that learning that Faridabad is one place in Delhi NCR which was just ignored,
Which
right?
was just ignored. And primarily, as you said, that this has always been a factory location. Like
Correct.
people, the boring businesses, the factories, the manufacturing that used to happen, 9 to 5 jobs. But a lot of people made money here. And that is why, people are again migrating back to the and the proximity to Delhi, that is again something that is very useful. And as you rightly said, metro connectivity has improved, road connectivity has improved. So it has come even closer to Delhi, if I should put it that way.
Right, right, right. So, in your production process and how you created your product, there was a story of Shark Tank in the middle. So, how did that story help you or did not help you? What happened with that?
So see, our objective of going to Shark Tank was to demonstrate, was to put it out there that we have got a new material that the country would need in a few years time,
Yeah.
right? And we were also seeing in market that there are few cheap knockoffs that are coming in. They've not completed their research and yet they are putting their product in the market. So we
Hmm.
wanted to make the market aware that you go with a company that has spent decent enough time in R&D, that have perfected the product.
Yeah.
Don't buy a cheap knockoff product and then write off that okay, sustainable materials are not good. So we just wanted to put it out there that if you are going to try mycelium packaging, try it with a company that has spent 4 5 years, that have perfected the manufacturing process, that has perfected the sustainability angle, that has perfected the stability of the product. So once you are buying my packaging, it would not go bad in a few years time, in a few months time on your shelf. It will only start to biodegrade once it's under the level of soil. It
Right.
would survive the harshest conditions. It would survive the most moist conditions that are there in the country.
Hmm.
So we just wanted to, establish ourselves. Ki, theek hai, we've spent a lot of time in stealth. We just want to put it out there. Ki, there's a new materials company coming out,
Hmm.
and we are gonna solve for the packaging.
Amazing. That's
So
a pretty
objective
good
was met.
approach to deal with the competition as well.
Yeah, I mean, we see, fair competition is good, but unfair competition, you have to figure out ways to make the market aware, right? So
Correct.
if there's a company that has a stable product and is launching in the market, then
Right.
it's a fair and square competition. And I would love that. But
Right.
there are companies who've not completed their research and
Right.
they are launching undercooked products.
Right.
So that was my concern, कि market खराब हो जाएगा इससे तो.
Right. 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 So, what happened after Shark Tank? So, what was after it?
So Shark Tank went very smooth. So, they were very kind to cut off all the bad parts and give only the good parts. So it
Right.
came out very smooth. And even my friends, they were looking out for the comment section and they keep calling me and saying, "Ki bhai, negative comments nahi hai bhai tere." So that was a positive validation. There is
Yeah.
always a mix of comments, right? There would be 80-90% good comments, but there would be 10% very brutal comments. So
Right.
luckily for me, that percentage was lower, less than single digit, and so that went well. Then a lot of people got to know about the advisory equity concept. That we come from startup ecosystem, so we have known this sweat equity, advisory equity.
Yeah.
But people who are just beginning to start, who are just exploring the startup phase, this was their first major exposure. Key, how does advisory equity work? why do people give advisory equity? And a lot of comments on the video I was also seeing is कि क्या हुआ समझ में नहीं आया, what did it
Yeah.
really happen? So
Yeah.
it was again nice movement for the generic audience to understand, there is not just money involved, there are a lot of
Yeah.
other ways to derive value out of people who have got intellect and understanding.
Right, right. So did it help you? So when you did that and they got the equity in your startup and they became your mentors, how was that relationship? How has that relationship blossomed? Has anything helped from that ecosystem or not?
You see, these are the people, who build unicorns, like, right? So,
Yeah.
this is one opportunity where you get in a room with 5 unicorn founders
Right,
and they give you undivided attention for at least an hour,
right,
right? So that is your moment where, you can really test what you really know, right?
right,
And these guys are very smart. They would see
right.
into your BS. So there is no point in, trying to go around. So what I really liked was that, they were very kind. They understood the problem statement. They agreed to give the time. And ultimately, once we started talking to each individual, they are very different from what we see on camera. They have, very unique thought processes for each problem statement. Now, as a founder,
Hmm.
you get to understand 5 different perspectives. Okay, if I go with the problem
Yes,
statement X,
yes, yes, yes.
each of these founders will give me 5 different solutions.
So you got
Right?
the time to be with them, right? After.
Not a lot. I mean, not as much as I would have wanted. These are very introductory calls. But nonetheless, what I realized was that, on screen, we get to see just the masala angle of these founders.
Correct.
Their real intellect is far more.
Hmm.
A. B, if you really get to get their time, you get 5 different perspectives, and then you can make an informed choice in how do you want to scale your business, how do you want to scale your startup.
Right.
You will just get 5 very good advices. Now, you might decide not to follow any of those 5 advices. That's, your choice. But the perspective would be very deep.
Hmm. Right. So, tell me about your company structure, how many people you employ, how does that work? What is your financials, some financials that you want to, anything that you want to talk about your financials, please tell us about that.
Yeah, so we've just hit century in terms of our team strength. So
Right.
we've got 22 people in our admin group and almost
Right.
80 odd people in our workforce on the shop floor.
Right.
So we've just crossed 100. Um, Apart from that, again, one thing that we kept in mind while building this team was that, workforce, there should be no discrimination. So we've got 45% workforce as women. Equal pay, that was something that was very important for me to start off the company. That we follow the minimum wages, we give ESI, we give PF, and it's same across genders, it does not matter. Only skill set based differences are there. That has to be there, right? Um, Apart from that, in terms of financials, so we after Shark Tank we raised a equity round of $3 million. This was led by Avana Capital, and that has helped us bring in first of a kind technologies into our manufacturing space. So we designed and developed our own systems that eliminate 4 of the 5 crucial processes. So if it was A, B, C, D, E, F, G, now A, B, C, D, E have been clubbed into one. So that brings down my pricing, that brings down my cost, that brings down my rejections, that improves my quality, that reduces my energy consumption. And this new machine that I'm talking about is first of a kind in the world. Nobody has been able to conceptualize it, let alone build it and get it commissioned. So this is going to be our major lever in scaling it up from here. There has been a reason why mycelium technology has not picked up globally. The reason has been that it's very pricey. Now we have a clear shot at bringing its price under control and making it viable for the market. Um, so yeah, very excited about how we are, how the next year is going to pan out too, and how we are able to scale it up. This year we are looking forward to closing the revenue at 2 crores because the machine just got commissioned a couple of months ago. But next year you should be on track of doing 20 to 30 crores of revenue. In particular,
For multiple, that
kind of a multiple. Yeah, absolutely.
isn't
It scales my operations from being capped at 5 lakhs a month to doing 80, 90 lakhs a month.
right. And you're a
And
part
then
of
again,
every business that needs packaging, and you are a manufacturing company which is actually right now riding the wave of how manufacturing is being pushed into the mainstream for Indian
correct.
economy as well.
That is there. And then we are also unlocking a new form of manufacturing, which is biomanufacturing. This is something that I'm very excited about. Biomanufacturing, whenever I start the topic, usually I'm the only one who's speaking on this topic. कि manufacturing क्या है? मतलब ये क्या नया system आपने
Right.
establish किया? We've just learned manufacturing. We've just learned optimizations. We in past 20 years, India as a country has learned how to use Japanese principles of Kaizen, 5S, into and putting them into optimization in the manufacturing space. Now comes a very young company that says that we are gonna disrupt all of that and we are gonna do biomanufacturing. We are gonna build new materials. So this is something that I feel is very exciting. That building a leadership in terms of new manufacturing processes, not coming from Germany, not coming from Japan, not coming from US, not coming from Korea, but coming from Faridabad. So that is what keeps me excited.
Yeah, that is one thing that I have always understood. So the day I entered that location, I understood that there are people hiding in Faridabad who have a lot of talent, but they don't want to show it in public right now because they're building it at a scale, right?
Mm.
This was always happening. So I used to find a lot of, for example, Hit Lab is one of the events for health tech. So two of the main speakers out of the 8 speakers in a 44 invite only event in IIT Delhi. Okay.
Mm. Mm.
44 people invited, 8 speakers to be coming in, and the guys who are sitting next to you are innovation head of Go Johnson and Johnson, and they are right now telling them, "Okay, I have the check, I need the guy." Right,
Mm.
kind of conversations. And two of them were Faridabad guys presenting there, and they are never visible in Faridabad. Right,
Yeah.
from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. So So great. So tell us your roadmap. What is your roadmap apart from the revenue roadmap of 22 crores of revenue, right? That's what you're aiming for the 2026, right?
2022. Right. Absolutely. So
What
see,
is your business roadmap as a whole, strategic roadmap? Please tell me.
the strategic roadmap is, very simple that first, so we are really following the Tesla model that, first you build a roadster that just establishes that, an alternative technology is possible. Now, this might not be there. Might not be cost viable for everyone in the ecosystem, right? But there will be some people who would be able to adopt. Like for me, it's been glass industry, it's been mirror industry because they are facing breakages.
Right.
They are not paying me for sustainable packaging; they are paying me for safe packaging,
Right.
right?
Right.
So that's our roadster movement. The whole objective is to make this complete plant that I've built in Faridabad 100% operational, 100% utilized. Show enough depth in the market, show to the people that there is a business that can be built around it, and there's a strong value proposition. Stage 2 would be we would be expanding to multiple locations. We would be putting 5 to 10 plants in the next 1.5 years. The whole solo objective would be to optimize on the logistics cost.
Correct.
Since we are building packaging, it's a very light material and logistics costs are also very high.
Right.
So you want to be close to all the manufacturing hubs, the Greater Noida and Manesar,
Right.
Haridwar, these type of hubs.
Right.
And
And
you want to
killer hubs. So for example, if you do something in Okla, Delhi, right? Because these are smaller manufacturers, you take smaller manufacturer requirements as well, right? Or do you take a minimum SKU?
do. But again, the point is that the pricing part. Packaging is a very cutthroat competition. So a 10% increment in price can be a deal breaker. So we want to tap to those companies who've got a budget to go for either sustainability or safety. Right? These are our two main.
Right. Once you reach the critical mass of demand, then you can obviously
Correct.
for smaller as well because then you're
Exactly.
fine.
So that's why I was coming to the Tesla model. You first build for the Roadster, then you build the Model X, Model Y, and ultimately you reach a point where you build a mass market vehicle. So
Correct.
similarly, right now our objective is that we master this top of the pyramid scene. We establish that we are the safest packaging out there. Period. There is no sustainability angle to our selling proposition right now. It's just the best packaging. Right. Step 2 would be you go to the bigger companies, larger volumes, slightly lower pricing.
Right.
Then ultimately a bigger chunk, more volume, lesser pricing, and ultimately you keep growing from there.
Hmm.
The whole sort of objective is that in terms of the roadmap, in terms of the vision, what we want to really establish is we want to establish uh, a really large industry wherein we are refining the agricultural residue and making all sorts of new materials.
Right.
Now, I'll talk underlying science for a minute. Whatever new materials are being built, they are being built by refining the petroleum, right? You get petrol, you get diesel, you get Vaseline, you get plastics, you get various elements, various compounds from the same raw material, right? Now, petroleum is driven essentially from biomass, right? That was compressed over time for very long years. So the essential compounds already exist in the biomass. So what if we can directly do refining of the biomass and build all the critical components that we require? So this is the vision that we work with, that you do not need to refine petroleum that nature has taken thousands of years to compress and optimize the molecules. Can we directly optimize the molecules right away from the biomass and build whatever material we require? So the way I like to see it is that again people laugh it off is that zero bio money at just one insight that polyester is going to the next big thing. We right now have the insight that biomaterials are going to the next big thing. Can we build a refinery as large as Jamnagar and change the course of new materials in the next 20, 30, 40 years?
Yeah, it is a very big challenge, obviously, to go upstream and just own the whole process for yourself, right? So, not source it. And it is always the aim of every good startup, even if it is not your industry as well. So, for example, I just interviewed 6 months ago Jaipur Watch Company, if you know Gaurav Mehta. He was also on Shark Tank. So, his aim and his vision was to make a fully supply chain of the full value chain of my watch should be Indian. Right. So my movement should also not come from Switzerland. It should come from India, and it should be respected by India that this movement was made in India for Indian watches, right? So everyone has that aim now, which is a very positive thing that it has come in. So this is something of a vision that has been built inside you, even if you have little bit of a moment of my business is going somewhere, you still have some feeling of that there is some positive happening in India, that my feelings are that I want to really push it, right? That pushing is something happening around across. That's what I'm observing everywhere. So amazing. So going up the value chain will definitely require you to raise like only plates, right? So
Correct.
so
That is a muscle that we need to build.
yeah,
So
so this 3 million that you've got, right? So what you've raised, valuation was 3 million, or you raised 3 million?
we raised 3 million.
Yeah, so you raised 3 million, and 3 million, how much is it? So you used it in your production and processes, right? So that,
Production is getting these new machines in,
right.
designing, developing, manufacturing, commissioning, everything end to end. So and again, end to end was made in India. So if we are feeling proud कि made in India, so ठीक है, we designed it here, we got it manufactured out of Pune, got it commissioned. So again, once if this technology really picks up in next 5, 7 years, we would be exporting this technology globally.
तो ये जो आपने टेक्नोलॉजी बनाया है, इसका आपने पेटेंट अप्लाई किया हुआ है?
Yeah.
अमेजिंग, 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 अमेजिंग। ऑन टॉप ऑफ इट, सो आपका जो अभी जो रनवे मिला हुआ है आपको कैपिटल के थ्रू, how long is the runway, and what are you looking for to raise the next round? Are you looking to raise a next round? Have you planned for a next round? What is your phase right now in the financial, the raising of?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So our objective is that, while we will not be able to showcase the entire 20 crores of revenue in the year, we will be able to showcase an ARR. So March, May, if I'm able to hit a crore, 1.5 crore, we can say, multiply that by 12. That translates to 18 to 20 crores of ARR. That should be good enough confident for the incoming investor. The whole sole objective is next. What is the next step? The next step is, can we really build a process that is comparable in terms of scalability to the current existing petroleum driven products? Okay, so how do petroleum driven products right now function is that there is IOC, there is LG Petrochem, there is Reliance. These people make the pellets, जिसको हम हिंदी में बोलते हैं दाना.
जी.
किसी भी प्लास्टिक का वो लोग दाना देंगे, and then there would be manufacturers who would be transforming it into shapes and then selling it to the companies. This is what is scaled, right? Can we do the same thing for new materials? Can we, democratize the shape? Can we sell a uniform shape or a uniform block of, let's say, new material, and then the end consumer makes it into shape and sell it to the company? So the next round would be to establish this. What it would be to, establish the depth of the market. Establish this process of scalability. So right now the technology has been de-risked. What you would be de-risking is scalability and operations, and depth of the market, right? So if so, as per our calculations and as per our models, every manufacturing plant that would be using my technology would be getting a payback in under 3 years. So if I'm able to put down 4 or 5 manufacturing units, and I'm able to demonstrate that it is on track of getting its payback in 4 to 5 years, 3 to 4 years, then there will be a lot of offtake agreements. There would be people who would be willing to put up a plant on our technology. And that's when we can scale from, let's say, 5 plants to 100 plants, pan India. And then we can also scale to, to, to all the nations across the globe, right? So, next round is to really make the technology, multiply the technology on multiple locations, establish the logistics efficiency, and B, demonstrate the depth of the market that, even if there are 5 plants, each is doing a 20 crores ARR of revenue. Like, can we really reach 100 crores? That gives you the confidence, there is enough depth. While we are saying there is enough depth, there's a lot of articles that they are saying there is enough depth. But until unless there is revenue realized, there's no meaning to those articles, right? You come from the ecosystem. I can develop and distribute as many articles with whatever number you want,
Correct.
right? So online research is not really the key. The key is real world execution.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the next round we are targeting that, we raise substantial funds to put in 4 or 5 plants, establish that there is enough depth, there is logistic efficiency that we can be leveraged, there are enough offtake agreements, and technology can be multiplied onto locations without any income.
So have you started asking for the next round, or have you not planned for it yet? You're in the process of planning and getting to the market. So what is the stage, and how, if the stage has reached the market or you planned something, how does your cap table currently look like, and those kind of things?
So very soon, we would be starting the conversations in, let's say, January. Right now, the objective is to just stabilize the new machine, deliver whatever the orders we have, not have anything in pipeline, not let any customer fall off, let there be no trickling of or attrition of the customers. Get the qualities, get their feedbacks, get those videos, because that is what's going to give comfort to the incoming investor. Yeah, so that's the plan. So you would be starting a proper roadshow by January or mid-term.
Right. Right.
The objective is to complete the fundraise by June or July. June money in bank, June, early July.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. Yes. And on top of it, you must be also offsetting carbon as well a lot.
Oh, a lot.
A
I
lot.
mean, that is the biggest impact that we have.
Right.
Right now, again, we've not gone for the carbon credits route because, it's highly regulated. There are top 2 or 3 players who will validate your carbon offset
Right.
excels.
Right.
But talking in terms of impact, that is a huge, huge impact. So right now we are processing like 100 tons a month.
Right.
At that scale, we are clearing like billions of liters of air, like
Right.
B with billions with a B, not millions.
Right.
So when the material gets burnt, it produces hydrocarbons and particulate matter. Now, this particulate matter creates the pollution that we are, seeing that is
Right.
troubling us.
Right.
The particulate matter emission is measured in micrograms
Right.
per meter cube.
Right.
What we are avoiding is kgs and tons.
Right.
If I am avoiding 100 tons from being burnt, it would have produced 1.5 tons of particulate matter.
Correct.
So that is billions of micrograms, billions of meter cube, right? So that's the direct math. So that is the amount of impact that you're saving on pollution, and then a similar amount on carbon credits. We are offsetting carbon. So if this material would have burnt, it would have emitted a lot of CO2. This gets converted to a material that gets used. So it's a midterm sequestration. CO2 sequestered. It would be released very, very late, 2 to 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Yeah. Right. So both impacts are happening in tandem.
So you must have seen one of our podcasts if you've not. So one of them is Renew Cred. He is helping you to certify and measure your carbon credits, and he is also a scientific team of around 50 scientists who have devised this process, and he can help you in measuring it at least. So that's something, if you ever want to have a connect, he's a nice guy. He's in the process of getting funded. He is completing his cap table right now. And apart from that, he is having the right background to help you out with this initial certification and understanding how to get into the market, right? He's also finding buyers right now for the carbon credit. So I helped him out in the UK. I gave him some meetings here. So he is getting into, because UK being the 55% of all carbon credits bought through UK bourses and UK markets, right? So That is where he hopped in. We introduced him to an ecosystem. So he's in the conversation there. So look at it. If you like that, I can introduce you to him. Right?
No, that would be amazing. I'll check his podcast. I've saved
Well,
it already.
jolly good fellow. He can always have a good conversation with you.
Amazing.
Right?
Where
Simple.
is he based out of?
So he's based out of Bangalore right now.
Okay.
He's funded by a university's incubator, and then they have become the anchor for his investment. So now he's raising it from outside as well. So he's in the process of getting it funded. So however you have a conversation will be good for you.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I will.
So great. So amazing startup moving in the right direction. Had the most amazing way of showing someone that this is also how you can use Shark Tank in a positive way. And someone who also understands the market in a way that he understands the price and the war that goes in packaging industry. So amazing, Arpit. It was great to have you on the podcast. And any other things that you would like to talk about? So I have one question that I ask in the end, right?
Yeah.
One question I ask the people is, it is very easy to say that you started up and you moved in a direction, and this looks, in hindsight, every startup looks amazing, right?
Yeah.
In hindsight, the story is always beautiful, right?
Yeah.
What are your day to days, and what do you feel are the challenges that you faced in your journey of creating the company that you have done to the point that it is right now? What has happened and what has been the challenges, and how have you dealt with them?
There have been numerous challenges as in like I have spent a very long time in building this company. So we started in like COVID 2020. So it's already been like more than 5 years. So it's
Right,
taken us a very long time because building new materials is very challenging.
right,
You are building manufacturing. Then you're doing all of this during COVID in
right,
India,
right,
Faridabad.
right,
So right, there are challenges on top of challenges. Then you need team. Hiring a team without money is again a huge challenge.
right.
Then you know, um, the wave of funding has made it very difficult to hire people once you're starting up. Good talent has moved to very high packages. And over the past few years, people are getting very well compensated, and that makes it even the more difficult to build from scratch. If you I see a lot of pitches where people say कि यार core team में technical बंदा हम लोग hire कर लेंगे नहीं कर पाओगे मतलब बहुत महंगा है.
Hmm.
So this is one thing, especially बोलते हैं ना यार कि core तो आपके पास थोड़ा सा skill set होना चाहिए. And people say कि नहीं वो हम hire कर लेंगे, we are just very good with management. नहीं कर पाओगे.
हाँ,
मतलब नहीं कर
और
पाओगे.
बिल्ड करो तो उसके आसपास बिल्ड हो जाता है.
हाँ, आप नहीं हायर कर पाओगे क्योंकि आपका जो भी अच्छा टैलेंट आपको चाहिए उसका पैकेज हमेशा इतना हाई होगा कि आप उसको रेवेन्यू से कॉम्पनसेट कर ही नहीं पाओगे. यू विल ऑलवेज नीड फंडिंग,
करेक्ट,
राइट? If
करेक्ट.
you're building like core technology, so that is a huge challenge that has come up in past 3-4 years, I would say. मतलब 10 साल पहले इतना challenge नहीं था क्योंकि I used to get a very good talent from my alma mater, my earlier college because people were hunting for opportunities. अभी क्या है कि एक तो quality of talent has also gone down post COVID. And that is something that everybody is ranting in the industry. कि यार मतलब quality talent नहीं मिल रहा और जो quality talent है उसका प्राइस बहुत ज्यादा है. This will go correction. मतलब you mark my words, this pricing structure, this talent skewness will go correction and फिर people would be gasping for air क्योंकि एकदम मास layoffs होंगे. जितने भी ये हाई प्रीमियम पे लोग ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं ये प्रीमियम पे करेक्शन होगा. जिन लोगों का टैलेंट नहीं है उनको हंट करना पड़ेगा एंड दैट वुड बी अ बैड टाइम. आई होप दैट डज नॉट हैपन पर every industry goes through a correction. So this is one thing that I'm really worried about. Once this happens, what would happen to the junior
When you say
engineers?
technical core, right?
Yeah.
So what is your technical core in your business?
Acha. So see, I am a hardcore engineer. I did my mechanical engineering and I'm a hardcore engineer and out of the box thinker. तो मेरा यही है कि अगर कोई भी processes है A B C D, I'm probably not good in making A 10% efficient. I'm good in eliminating B and C. कि A के बाद सीधा D जा सकते हैं क्या? तो वहाँ पे can we skip processes? Can we
Correct.
skip manufacturing processes?
Correct.
क्योंकि उसमें क्या होता है स्टेप चेंज मिलता है आपको कॉस्ट में. अगर आप 10% ऑप्टिमाइज करोगे तो कॉस्ट 10% ऑफ 5 प्रोसेसेस कटेगी, राइट? A B C D अगर पांचों का इक्वल कंट्रीब्यूशन है ईच इज कंट्रीब्यूटिंग 25% टू द कॉस्ट, एक को आपने 10% काटा तो अल्टीमेट कॉस्ट 2.5% ही कटा, राइट?
इसलिए कैपिटल इन्वेस्टमेंट के हिसाब से अगर करोगे काम को तो ऑब्वियसली इन दी एंड इट इज अ वेरी बिग वैल्यू दैट विल ऑब्वियसली कम डाउन टू के प्रोसेस आपने आज इंप्रूव करने की कॉस्ट बढ़ रही है, लेकिन इन द
हाँ,
फ्यूचर दिस विल ऑब्वियसली कम डाउन टू बिकॉज योर एसेट इज योर ओन एसेट विच इज योर
करेक्ट,
प्रोसेस विच इज योर ओन वे ऑफ लुकिंग एट थिंग्स.
राइट.
Subscription does not work. Subscription will not work for manufacturing as long as you can replace subscription with better UX or better way of making a production happen. I mean, action you are taking. So that is the technical expertise that you have. Apart
Yeah,
from
that
that,
is.
what are the challenges of hiring experts that you are facing?
देखो
Kind
challenges
of
तो
ex-
हर
what kind of experts do you need from the market in hiring?
so again we so हमारा जो जेडी है ना दैट इज वेरी वियर्ड, वी नीड आउट ऑफ द बॉक्स थिंकर्स. अब इसका ना कोई इसको डालने का कोई तरीका नहीं है, इसको इंटरव्यू करने का कोई तरीका नहीं है, राइट? एंड असाइनमेंट्स हम लोग पहले देते थे, दैट हैज बिकम यूजलेस नाउ, क्योंकि आप चैट जीपीटी पर डालो वो दे देगा असाइनमेंट का आंसर आपको,
Hmm.
राइट? तो अब असाइनमेंट आप ले नहीं सकते, दैट हैज बिकम यूजलेस.
Hmm.
इंटरव्यूज में पीपल आर यूजिंग स्प्लिट स्क्रीन. मल्टीपल इंटरव्यूज आई सीन, कैंडिडेट से मैं कुछ क्वेश्चन पूछता हूँ, ट्रिक क्वेश्चन पूछता हूँ, तो दे आर ब्लैंक फॉर लेट्स से 3-4 मिनट्स एंड फिर एकदम से परफेक्ट आंसर आ जाता है एक झटके में. 3 मिनट बाद कैसे एकदम से आपके पास परफेक्ट आंसर आ रहा है, राइट? यू देयर हैज टू बी अ ट्रैजेक्टरी ना, कि यू आर अटेम्प्टिंग समथिंग, है ना? ये देयर हैज टू बी अ थॉट प्रोसेस.
Yeah.
आप 3 महीने ब्लैंक हो, है ना, आप देख रहे हो स्क्रीन पे ब्लैंक 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 ब्लैंक, 3 मिनट बाद ठक करके आपका आंसर आ गया.
Hmm.
तो इट शोज, राइट? सो वी ट्राई, लास्ट राउंड आप फैक्ट्री पे आओ, देखो जरा, बात करो मुझसे, लेट्स द बॉडी लैंग्वेज. सो इट हैज सो हायरिंग तो देखो आपका जो टेक्निकल एक्सपर्टीज है, सो अगेन वी मूव्ड अवे फ्रॉम कोर इंटरव्यू बेस्ड हायरिंग टू मोर ऑफ प्रोबेशन बेस्ड हायरिंग, कि वी विल हैव यू ऑन बोर्ड एंड वी विल से कि भाई 3 महीना आपको हम लोग एक टफ प्रोजेक्ट देंगे, आप उसमें डेमोन्स्ट्रेट करो, बाकी जॉब तो लगी जा रही है आज की डेट में मार्केट में, वो तो चैलेंज बड़ा है नहीं. So that is one thing, but challenges wise, again, Arjun, you were saying कि भाई what are the challenges you faced? I have faced a lot of challenges in the past 5 years. Multiple times I have broken down. I say there was a moment where I had $18 in my account. 18 रुपए बचे थे 3 अकाउंट में मिला के, पेटीएम प्लस मिला के, सब कुछ मिला के 18 रुपए बचे थे. एंड देवर पेबल्स, बहुत सारा अमाउंट देना था, उधार ले चुका था.
Right.
एंड देयर वाज नो क्लियर साइट किया पैसे आएंगे तो कैसे आएंगे, देयर वाज नो क्लियर टर्म शीट भी साइन नहीं थी.
Hmm.
तो वहां से सरवाइव किया. उस टाइम पे इट वाज इट ऑलवेज मेड सेंस कि भाई छोड़ो इसको एंड टेक अ जॉब, मिल जाएगी, बिकॉज इट्स नॉट दैट डिफिकल्ट एंड वी कैन अटेम्प्ट लेटर. बट नेचर हैड इट्स वे कि भाई ये बनाना है, तुम्ही को बनाना है, बनाओ चुपचाप. तो the world has been very kind. We survived near death situations a couple of times. I have broken down multiple times, kept crying. तो पापा ने एक चीज सिखाई थी that I want to share with the audience.
Yes.
बहुत अच्छा स्टेटमेंट है वो, ये है कि पापा said it's okay to go to bed crying but never wake up crying.
Correct.
तो मुझे बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट लगा कि यार आपका दिन खराब गया, सब कुछ खराब हो गया, आप रो लो यार, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, ज्यादा ना ऐसे माचो बनने की जरूरत नहीं है, राइट? पर वंस यू वोकन अप नेक्स्ट डे, इट्स अ न्यू डे, तो पुराना बैगेज लेने की भी जरूरत नहीं है.
Correct.
गया पुराना तो दिन गया खत्म, लेकिन न्यू डे है, सुबह 6 बज रहे हैं, 7 बज रहे हैं, 8 बज रहे हैं, जो भी टाइम में आप अपना डे स्टार्ट कर रहे हो, जीरो से स्टार्ट कर रहे हो, तो अब नहीं रोना कल खराब हुआ था या पिछला हफ्ता खराब गया. रात को रो के ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं, खराब हो गया,
So
होते हैं यार.
similarly, my dad also has the same line, exactly, but he just says to me, a new day is a new morning, it's a new thing, right? So he does not say कि रात को क्या करके सोए, but he definitely tells me morning के एक नया दिन है, तो जो भी तुम सोच समझ के अपने आप को सुला लो बस, उसके बाद ये सब कुछ सॉल्व हो जाएगा. क्योंकि
I mean, that's a huge intellect यार. मतलब Indian dads have amazing intellect and understanding and क्या बोलूं, मतलब मोटिवेशन ऑल इन वन. तो एक ना स्पेसिफिक पॉडकास्ट होना चाहिए, हाउ वुड डैड लीड अ बिजनेस.
Yeah.
माय डैड इज ऑलवेज लाइक दैट कि भाई मेरा ऐसा होता है कि पापा फट गया यार, ये खराब वो खराब, एंड ही इज लाइक ये तो बहुत छोटी सी प्रॉब्लम है, एंड आई एम लाइक पापा क्या यार, बड़ी है, डैड छोटी है.
Uh, so yeah, so I have seen my dad also just having so many big problems that I can ever not imagine. I have seen that problem in front of him. And goes to sleep at 8:30. Completely goes and he has a good sleep. He wakes up in the morning and says, "Oh, okay, ये करते हैं. That's it."
करते हैं हाँ बस. So I think that maturity helps, and again, we need to transfer that information. Whatever our dads are saying very casually, that's a
Podcast होना चाहिए.
ये podcast होना
That's
चाहिए.
होना चाहिए. Lots and lots of dads have given lots and lots of happy learnings to a lot of people, and we want to learn.
We want to learn, right? That
Ah.
that information needs to go out there.
Yeah.
Everyone.
So there is one guy in UK who does marketing for people, right? So his company's name is Goodman Lantern.
Goodman Lantern. Interesting.
Goodman the लालटेन एक लाइन होती थी जो हमारे दादाजी हमें बोलते थे. ठीक है.
अच्छा.
उस जमाने में लालटेन होती थी ना, लैंटर्न, राइट?
Yeah.
तो जो लैंटर्न लेके आएगा वो गुड आदमी है. वो
अच्छा.
राइट. तो उसने उस पे कंपनी बना रखी.
को पा था.
So lots of good things can come out of such a podcast. Amazing idea. Amazing idea. So great, yeah. Happy to have you on this podcast. And what is your ask from my audience? Is there any ask? I'm not stopping. I just want to talk to you more and more.
Their ask is very simple that, if there are product companies out there who've got fragile items who are struggling with, let's say, breakages during their transit,
Right.
let us help you in figuring out your logistics. Let us help you build the safest, best packaging that is possible. And it will also be sustainable. And you will also be contributing to solving Delhi's air pollution problem.
Correct. And on top of it, are you only India or are you also looking to expand? Because
So right now we are India focused because, as I said, that transportation cost of our material is very heavy. We want to build a very solid case, build a very solid team, and then, enter globally with a very solid footing. Because, in startups, one thing I've learned is that people are optimizing for burn,
yes,
kind of growth. What I've realized is that it's better to grow on customers' money rather than investors' money.
and you're in a safe place. You're in a industry which is manufacturing. There is a you have got the experience to move it in the right direction. So that risk aversion of your experience and your way of building the thing has already reached the momentum. And you've also looked at technologies and created a patent for yourself. You need to build it in India first, and I would love to introduce through this video to everyone who listens to this, right? And we'll be spreading this message of yours across.
No,
Right.
absolutely.
Right.
Wonderful talking, Arjun. But
Yeah.
whenever you are next year, do let me
I'm there in December, so I would love to come to your factory.
Oh, absolutely.
I would love to hop in and just have a time with you, right? So amazing.
That would be amazing. Yeah. We would love to host you and also go to Idea Shacks Wala for working.
Why not? Why not? We built it from scratch and taken over the whole building now. That's the achievement in Faridabad. Now we've expanded to Punjab. We've also expanded to Delhi in a small scale for legal firms. And we've also looked at Gurgaon, where there's a experiment going on. So I'll tell you about that experiment of sustainability.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
I love to hop on that. Amazing. Sustainability mein, being from the ecosystem, I've gathered a lot of information. And, apart from business, there might be a lot of things that I can help leverage with.
Yeah, so my ecosystem will obviously get connected to you. So we'll get you into the group and you'll see some values coming from a lot of places. So there are some scientists in the interviews that I've done who are also celebrated startups. So you will be able to get them moving in a direction if you want to get into that movement of biomaterial. If there is some research you want to do, there will be some connects that can also happen from there. So your value helped, right? So pleasure to have you, Arpit. Amazing conversation. And finally, I'll say a goodbye to you and meet you in December.
Yeah. See you in December, Arjun.
See you.
Good day. Bye.
That was Arpit Dhupar, showing us that with the right vision, waste is not waste, but a resource waiting to be transformed. His work at the Raksha Eco Solutions is a powerful reminder that sustainable innovation can create both economic and environmental value. For more stories of impact-driven leaders, subscribe to Impact X Studio.